You're still watching TVC Breakfast. Now, Lagos residents have been dealing with high rents and exorbitant hikes, with some areas recording increase of 100%. Now, this has made it harder for many people to afford housing, pushing some into homelessness and worsening the state housing crisis. While many Lagosians have been asking the government to weigh in, the Lagos State House of Assembly says it's taken steps to ensure the strict enforcement of the 2015 tenancy law, which protects tenants from arbitrary rent increases. Now, the Assembly has also raised concerns about landlords demanding 2 years' rent upfront, high agency fees, and illegal evictions. Joining us for this conversation is estate surveyor and valuer, Chairman Board of Real Estate Professionals Association of Nigeria, Olushola Eniton is our guest this morning. Good morning, Mr. Olushola. How are you doing?
Very well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to be here.
Same. It's an honor to have you on the show this morning. But this topic we're going to delve into right now is one that is very passionate to a lot of Nigerians, because in one way or the other, they've experienced bad landlords or probably bad agents. Now we look at it over a period of time, a lot of tenants have suffered. A lot of people cannot even afford to pay house rent. We've looked at how house rent has been increased. We've looked at how agents will keep putting money. But now we're seeing that the government is coming in. The question people are asking, is it too late? As tenants and people have been crying. But it's good to see that right now they are weighing in. What we want to know is that how is this reforms going to be put, and how will it get to the grassroots for people to be able to afford rent, and also for tenants and landlords to stop treating people like they're doing them a favor?
Most of the questions you're asking, they are questions that can only be answered via economic decisions. The government is seeing the concerns of the populace, and government is also trying to do something about it. But they are going it the wrong way. The government will be leading millions of people in violation of federal laws if it goes ahead with what it is trying to do. For example, you want to reduce rent. You don't reduce rent by writing a bill. It's an economic dynamic that you need to attend to by bringing the professionals who know how to do this on the table. You bring them in and let them give you the technical pathways by which you can do this. For example, you want to reduce rent. Did landlords create the inflation that is currently at 23%? The answer is no. Did landlords create the interest rates that is start doing things that are wrong? The best way by which government can reduce rent is simply for government to participate in mortgages. Government needs to put behind the real estate industry a mortgage guarantee that maybe will be in excess of 500 billion. As the governor recently, raised a bond for 500 billion for food. So also they need to do the same for housing. Because when you do that, you are taking the risk from, a large portion, a chunky portion of the risk of development. You are taking it from developers, you are taking it from banks who actually fund development. How will a bank put money, into a project, and you are telling that bank that, look, this your 30% has to become 5%? It's not feasible. It's not viable. These are economic principles. Okay. You want to change agency fee from 10%. The agency fees that are paid are constitutionally tied. You cannot lead millions of people in violation of federal laws. If you go to Part 1, Second Schedule of the Constitution, Item 49, you will see it there. It's not directly talking about estate agency fees. It's actually talking about who has the powers to take decisions with respect to professions. All right. And it is the federal government. The state government cannot re-legislate a National Assembly enactment. They have not gone the right way of how to actually make interventions in housing situations in Lagos State.
All right.
Aside from putting in a bond, you know, like a government-backed mortgage guarantee scheme, the government can also say, okay, look, you know what? We cannot change federal laws. We would like to bring this thing down to you paying about 5%. Currently, agents will take 10% from you, but what will happen is that we will give you tax rebate, we'll give you tax refund. At the end of the year, when you are paying your taxes, 5% that you paid in agency fees will be on the first line charge of allowances that will not be taxable.
So that's your suggestion to the Lagos State government on how
these are
to
economics.
Get these things
you don't
done.
just barge in into. Have they gone to the Securities and Exchange Commission to say Lagosians lost money in the stock market? You have to bring this thing down, pay them back of their some of their money.
Yes.
It will be stupid to do that,
yes,
because the dynamics.
I understand what you're saying, but I have to put this question in, sir. I really do have to put this question in. A lot of Lagosians believe that the agents they are the devil in the teacup, if I should put it that way. They are the ones that are really. And what did the agents give the landlords that make the landlords to their suggestions so easily? All right. Yes, I recognize the fact that inflation has hit building materials, you know, and the man that built his house in 1972 is also increasing his house rent to be at par with the economic realities of today, you know, and most of them based on advice from the agents that did even buy a bag of cement. Now, as human beings, we need to show empathy, and we are grinding towards a situation where the average Lagosian will not be able to rent an apartment. What do you suggest should be the right way to reduce this load? We are talking about a 100% increase. No, I know that landlords have done 300, 400% increase.
Well, I will start from the increase you just mentioned.
Yes.
And I am going to start by looking at the delinquency of the Naira. 2 years ago, the Naira was trading 420 Naira to the dollar. Today, it is 1,000, as of this morning, it is 1,550. That's over 300% in, you know, devaluation of the Naira. Now, most of the components of housing, they are imported, most. Now, the one that you will say, oh, but laterite is not imported. Laterite is the infill in foundations, okay? And that is not imported, as it were. But let me tell you that as of 2 years ago, laterite was about 75,000 to 120,000 for a 30-ton truck and a 20-ton truck, or a 10-ton truck, sorry. Now, today, laterite is 300,000 for a 30-ton truck. So inflation eats up into everything. And the delinquency of the Naira, it has stabilized, right? But everything is coming from somewhere, you know. Now, the Lagos State House of Assembly ought to have brought in the technical people, estate surveyors and valuers. It's not just sending a bill to a group of lawyers who will come up with something. No, the market, as we look at it, is deeper than that. Government is making intervention in investment environment. When you want to do that, you bring in the experts. You sit down with them. How do I navigate this? How do I do this? You know, and they will bring it to the table. You cannot be leading, you know, millions of Lagosians, you know, to go against federal law. And you yourself, you are, you know, an established House of Assembly enacted by the same law you are asking people to go and breach. So increases are tied to the economy. It is not a landlord's problem. And you see, the thing is that everybody will adjust. We have adjusted with respect to the Naira. Tenants also will adjust. landlords also will adjust. There will be an adjustment. It's a natural.
But there will be, from the way it's going, there will be a point where adjustments will not be possible for a lot of ordinary Lagosians. I'm asking, what are we doing about these agents? The agents, they seem to control this business.
Agents are not our problem. I am an agent, okay? I'm an estate agent. Okay. I am regulated in the way I work. My regulation stems from the Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria. Aside from that, that board is tied to an act that tells it what it must do, and that act is tied to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I am constitutionally guided in the way that I work. Now, what we are saying is that agents are not our problems. Our problems are that we are in an economic environment that is requiring redress, that is, taking redress. I mean, most of the things that the current government of the day has done, some people will say, it's painful, it's this, it's that. But it is better that you heal a wound than for you to leave it to fester. When you are trying to heal a wound, it will be difficult. It will be peppery. It will burn you. Okay. Do you understand?
Right, Mr. Editor.
Essentially, sir.
Right,
sorry,
allow me to butt in because of our time.
Yes, please.
Yeah, allow me to butt in. Yes, I want to disagree with you that agents are not the problem, especially when it comes to the Lagos environment. You, as an estate agent, you are probably an upright person, but I tell you that a whole lot of your colleagues are worse than the Shylock landlords. We understand that we also have Shylock landlords who do not take care of their property. They do not do anything to uplift or to upgrade these premises or these buildings that they accommodate their tenants, and they increase their monies. We understand that there is prevailing economic situations that are causing challenges not just for the landlords but for the tenants, who is expected to pay his or her rent in due course. How do we explain a rent that goes from 350,000 naira to 700, or sometimes I've heard of that of 1 million to 3 million, and a rent that is not taken care of? And I know so many agents who are doing a whole lot of damage to the lives of not just the tenants and even the landlords. And some landlords are just, laid back. As long as they see money, they are fine. How do we address this matter? So much so that the tenants will be at ease and the landlord will also know that, yes, it's an investment. I'm making money, and the middle person is well regulated, so that we'll have a peaceful society and not people sleeping under the bridges.
Okay, you've mentioned about old stock housing being attracting market value, current market value. You have also spoken about how these interventions can be made with respect to houses that are not of good condition. Yeah. One of the things I expect to see in that bill is for the fit for habitation certification to be done and tied to current market value. That was never done. And that is because the professionals were not invited into technical sessions. You don't just come and spawn a bill. You must do something that everybody at the end of the day will be pleased with. Old stock housing, for all you care, will be probably lacking renovation, lacking some facilities and all that. There is a discount that ought to come to those kind of properties. But when those things are not in the bill, they are not in the proposed law, you will not be able to attend to them. And the best way to attend to them is that, look, when you set the fit for habitation certification standard, that will guide all the properties that will arrive at the current market value. Those who are not well ready for the market, maybe they are lacking some facilities or they are old stock, those will not arrive at the current market value because professionals will go and check them. And every professional that is working has to be certified. You cannot even do local certification because these things are standardized. They are standards that must be passed on by, technical competences. So You see, no matter how painful things may be, if we are not doing the right thing, it will be more painful. The government or the legislative house may put tenants into, hyper rent problems, hyperinflated rent problems, if they are not careful. And you see, it is not just about estate agents. It is about society. It is about economics. The dynamics, they are beyond,
I need to come in
the Lagos
here
House
now.
of Assembly
You have spoken
Certificate of fitness for habitation is
about
essential.
economy. You're dropping the blame on the table of the economy. Now, whilst we hear you and we totally understand that, and I'm sure Nigerians also understand that as well, but my colleague raised a very germane point when he talked about old buildings. You find old buildings that were built many decades ago still being charging the kind of rents that new buildings that was just built maybe 5 or less years ago is about to charge. And then you are saying also that agents are not the issue. Could you take us through the proper conduct of an agent? If I want to get a house in Lagos and I go through an agent, I give the agent the specifications of the type of house that I want. Alas, the agent comes to me with quack environments that I don't even want. Now, what should my position be as one who is looking for, an accommodation? And then, shouldn't we also blame the landlords for allowing their properties to dilapidate to that state? And then I have to come in as a person seeking accommodation to refix the entire broken down structure, and you expect me to pay exorbitant rent? Is that still economy?
Fitness for habitation. Fitness for habitation. There are standards for fitness for habitation. You have market standards and you have below market standards. Now, when the agent visits a property in search of a house for a client, he will see all these things. Now, that bill did not even have any fitness for habitation clause. It did not have, a standard setting clause. So all these are the things that you have highlighted. You are actually speaking to that bill, that bill has failed to take cognizance of the essentials, because a schedule of dilapidations has to be made by the agent. That schedule will tick off. Does it meet current standard? It will say no. Is it average? It will tick average. If it is below average, it will tick below average. What is available? It will state a set of facilities that should be there. Those facilities you have to tick at the end of the day when you do the scoring. It will just search for you what the market rent is supposed to be. And if that law says when you come to that setting that is saying instead of this house arriving 3 million on the market, this house is only worth 1.850. If you put it on the market for hire and an occupier, a tenant goes there and discovers that, look, this house should not be more than at most 2 million. Why are you asking for 3 million? That tenant can make a report. He can make a report. These are the things that the bill ought to accommodate. Okay? But where the fitness for habitation is not set, of course there will be issues.
Mr.
You cannot bring down rent. We're not a socialist environment. We're not a socialist economy.
Yeah.
We are a capitalist economy.
Okay.
Investment has dynamics.
Mr. Senator, let me come in here because of our time. You have said quite a number of things, but there are some things that I do not agree that you have said. You said that people will adjust at the end of the day. I don't know if you're an agent, so I don't want to say that you're speaking for other agents. I believe that you are upright. You look like an upright man, and I believe that you are. But do you know the kind of agents we have in Lagos? That is just number one. Number two, you're saying that they will adjust. It's easy to say that they will adjust. Mr. Eniton, how many people can leave their parents' house right now and pay rent? The amount of rents, you hear 6 million, 7 million, 8 million. You cannot even see a house that is good and decent. I think that this is where our humanity needs to play in. You know, I feel like you are also trying to protect these landlords, but Mr. Editor, some of these landlords are not the best. Some of them, we understand the price hike. We understand that buildings are quite expensive now. But the way they increase the prices, it's like they forget that they do not have children as well. Mr. Editor, the children that are starting their life now, the youths, I tell you, it's difficult to pay rent.
Okay, you will agree with me that most of us were not all born in Lagos. We got here by migration. You see, at the end of the day, those who feel that they would find better opportunities elsewhere will go there. And that's what I mean by adjustment. There will be social adjustment. However, the way government can intervene is by providing infrastructure. It's by making transportation available from here to Badagry, from here to Ekpe, they will put buses on the road, ensure that people can go and live in places where they can afford. Now, let me tell you.
Places they can afford? What about if they are working here? What about if they have their jobs here? So do we now have to push people to go to places they can afford?
Are you aware that Lagos to Ibadan is now 1 hour? Are you aware that people are living in Abeokuta and coming to Lagos? They are in good environment. They are in healthy environment. Are you aware that
Mr. Editor, sorry to pause in. Are you also aware that places that you've mentioned, Ibadan, Abeokuta and environs, they're also getting very, very expensive, unreasonably expensive because of what happens here in Lagos?
Because it is economic dynamics. Now, every investor, including the landlord, has a right to returns. In the real estate market in Nigeria, and I can tell you, let me say the entire Nigeria, when you hear rent is 3 million, the property is probably worth about 70 million naira. So when you look at someone who has an investment of 70 million naira, compare it with the stock market, okay, you will not ask a man who is due for dividends of 4 for 1 to take 2 to 1 because you need to do some other. Look, it's economic dynamics. The best way that government can do this is to provide stamp rebates, stamp duty rebates. Is to provide. You go into the financial environment and put structures in place so that tenants can find good grounds to stand. You give them tax refund. You give them stamp duty rebates. You will encourage social housing development. You would provide mortgage-backed securities, government-backed mortgage schemes, such that every developer has protection. You will build more houses. As you are building houses, you would encourage developers to build a certain set of housing that the people can afford. The way you will do that is to ensure that you collapse the interest rates. Because somebody who has to pay 30%, imagine 30% on 70 million is already 2.1 million. And the guy is probably earning 3 million naira in rent. So he's almost done. All his money is almost gone. We need to
from everything you're saying, you are reacting
for everything that we do in Lagos State.
Yeah.
Using professionals, like you guys are very powerful, right? You know why? Because you are the media. You are at that realm where you can be able to guide government and say, look, it's like someone who is not a professional coming on your table. I don't know how he's going to navigate it.
Yes,
it's probably going to collapse with sweat.
I understand you, sir. Can I come in here? From everything you've said, you have been talking in defense of developers, of landlords, and so on. Let us shift a little bit away from...
In defense of tenants.
Okay, it depends on tenants.
I don't think so, Mr. Editor.
Because these are the ways by which tenants can actually get succor. Cannot, there is no way, unless government can do you know that Lagos State has a deficit of about 400,000 housing units per annum? That deficit is increasing every day.
Population.
Yeah.
Now, with that, how many has Lagos State government itself built?
So
maybe
we have less than 2 minutes to do this. let me just put it in before our time elapses. All right, there is a problem when it comes to agents. Less than 20% of the agents are registered. Less than 20% of agents are registered. You need to see those agents that go source for one-room apartments for people, you know. And these are the ones that we are worried about, not people like you that are registered and regulated. And that's number one. Number two, while this bill was being written, did you have an incursion with the Lagos State House of Assembly to tell them, because it is your purview, did you go there, your organization, did your organization go there to say, look, for this thing to work, this and this and this must be taken care of?
Quickly,
I'll take it from there.
Yeah.
It was just 2 days ago. I was there live, and I told them exactly what I am saying here today. I told them that they have not done the right thing. Before you come to a public hearing, you ought to do what is called technical session. You bring in professionals who are directly involved in what you want to do. And you would request of them to give you the best pathways by which you can do what you need to do. It's not just by putting words together and throwing it at people to go and put input. No, you must come with your best foot forward, so that at the end of the day, the passing of the law, the concerns that you are exercising, that concern will be met in no time. You can pass the bill in no time. If that bill is passed the way it is,
our time is fast spent. Our time is fast spent. I know there's a lot to talk about this, but thank you very much. It's been a fantastic conversation, Mr. Eniton. And please, I know that you are a very good agent, so please help us talk to some of the agents in Lekki. They need to do better. But thank you so much, sir. That was amazing. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for joining us.